What's up, everybody? This is Colin from Holistic Heritage Homestead. I hope you're all well. Folks, I know there's a big interest in gardening, and it's very popular nowadays, and I think that's awesome. I'm really happy that a lot of people are trying to grow their own food. I'm really happy that there's a huge interest in gardening and growing food organically. And folks, sometimes resources are limited. Whether you have money, you don't have money, you want to save money, you just, whatever, want something quick and easy. Don't overthink it, okay? I'm going to keep this as simple as possible. Get a bunch of rocks, preferably natural rocks. Make a big border of where you want your garden to be. Consider sunlight. Consider how the sun moves across your property, okay, and where it is at different times of day. That gets a little more into the planting details. You're going to want to know what you should plant where as far as sunlight. But either way, just mark it out with some rocks. That's all you got to do. Make a shape. Begin to fill it with organic matter. Now, there's details to this. I can get into hugelkultur things, being used here. I can get into lasagna gardening ideas being used here, but I'm just going to keep it simple, right? Make a border, okay? Fill it with organic matter. That's all you got to do. And this doesn't look like much, but listen, we didn't do much with this garden bed, if anything, really at all, because it's kind of a work in process, running behind. Things happen, right? But we've been working on, I've been throwing a lot of stuff out here as far as coffee grounds, spent coffee grounds, spent tea grounds, just layering lots of organic matter, lots of leaves. There's wood chip in here. There's leftover potting soil probably from the gardening that happens above. Remember, we talked about stacking functions in other videos. Please watch those previous videos, folks. There might be some good stuff in there that might help you, might be of value to you. So don't overthink it. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to bring the level of this garden bed up higher. So I'm going to put a cedar board over here on this side. That's the only possible real investment is a cedar board, which I might even have. It's going to be maybe a few cedar boards. We'll see how I put this together, but that's going to create almost like, I don't know if the term would be a threshold, but something to hold all this in, because I'm going to build this soil upwards, okay? We're sitting on clay over here a little bit, some rocky clay, We're going to build this soil upwards and improve the clay underneath, hopefully. That's the game plan, right? And just keep adding organic matter, lots of crushed eggshells, some compost, some pre-digested compost. You name it. It goes on here because it has time. So now, instead of just, getting sad saying, well, I didn't accomplish much with this garden bed, I'll just leave it alone. And, at the end of the season, I'll start to prep it for next year or amend it. No, why wait? If you're not growing anything in it anyways, you should be growing cover crops on it or adding organic matter. You should be still taking care of it, letting those unwanted, quote-unquote, weeds or undesirables or random volunteer plants that pop up to help your soil by releasing all those exudates and sugars and nutrients into your soil with the roots, right? With all that microbiology, that's what we're trying to feed here, folks. There might not be a lot, as far as what you might see as life above the ground, but under this, so much life. Okay, this was hard clay, and it's still pretty hard, but look at all that organic matter. Okay, look at all that organic matter. And if I dug into this, it's quite dry right now. There's worms around here. There's all kinds of really good life, And the cool thing about, I don't know if I named it this or not, but this little caveman garden, is that in my idea, I'm going to do a video separate on this, but there's lots of life that might be and or will develop, I think, underneath these rocks. Lots of the positive beneficial insects. It could be little enclaves for bacteria to live. Lots of good stuff. You'll see these insects are all working together, all right, in harmony, breaking this down, feeding the microbiology, the bacteria, the protozoa, mycorrhiza, your fungus, all these things you can add. I think they've sprinkled some fertilizer on here, some organic fertilizer. Naturally, that's how we get down, right? And we're just going to build this level up. You know what it takes, though, folks? Something called hard work. Now, initially, especially setting up the bed, but it's fun. It's passive. You do a little bit at a time. You do it when you have time. That's it. And then you just fill it in and you throw stuff on it like a giant compost pile, essentially. Okay. And when it's ready, obviously, you know, there's some growing recommendations. If you're putting, you know, be very careful with manure. You want to age manure at least 90 days and or hot compost and all that type of stuff before you use it. But do your research on that. Make your own judgments and be safe and be careful, folks. But, you know, if it's organic matter, you know, there's some wood ash in here, you know, maybe some biochar we might have put in here. I'm not sure what we put in here, but it's all that type of stuff, just layering it. And let me tell you, this stuff starts to break down after a while. And it's going to release all those nutrients. And when you grow organically, you need time to make those nutrients bioavailable. And that's also where the microbiology comes into play. Without that microbiology, those nutrients might not be bioavailable. So what better than to get a head start in the fall time, especially with something you're not growing in. And this goes for your growing containers too. You could do things to get them ready, right? You know, why not start your process now? Why not give yourself a head start while it's still warm outside? Now, earthworms are still active, okay? You know, we've had, you know, it's been a little dry, but earthworms are still active, right? You know, when it comes time for the winter, you know, a lot of microbiology, they go kind of dormant or they relax a little. Same thing with earthworms, stuff like that. So you get a kind of a slowing down of the processes in some ways. So when it's a little warmer, things happen a little faster, I think. And it seems to just break down better, especially when you have rains. But we could use some rain for sure. And this doesn't look like anything yet, but we're going to keep layering some browns, some nitrogens, some composting. I wouldn't throw necessarily just, you know, and hey, listen, do what you want to do. I'm not saying necessarily I wouldn't just throw food scraps all over this thing. You might attract some unwanteds, but if you want to compost those a little bit first, go for it. You know, do whatever you want to do. Or you want to trench compost, maybe bury it in the ground. Listen, you do what you think you need to do and you make your own choices with that. But just be careful about that type of stuff, especially if it's outside, especially if it's, you know, not guarded, not fenced in well and all that type of stuff. Or, you know, just be smart about it. You know, always try to, you know, break things down if they need to. Let them break down a little bit before you apply. That would also be weird if you had random stuff sitting all over your garden uncovered. You should definitely cover that up. And you could do that with just some wood chips, some leaves, some grass. Keep it simple. Don't overthink it, folks. Okay? And just let it go to work for you. All right? You work a little bit. Yeah, you work a little bit. A little bit of work. Make a little border. Build the rocks up. You do it slowly. And the cool thing is it's kind of a process. As I build this up, see, as I build this up, this I could build slowly also at the same time, as needed. I could plant in this right now probably and not have an issue. And that's what's awesome about it, folks. You know, chop and drop principles. You know, I'm actually chopping from right behind me, you know, nearby, and just throwing them right around here. I'm landscaping. While you're landscaping, you want to do some end of year landscaping, fall clean out, guess where all that organic matter should be going? Come on, folks, start thinking. Use your land, use your resources. This is resources right here. Leaves, sticks, twigs, wow, grass, hay, eggshells. These are all resources. And at the end of it, it comes down to saving you money. Money. You see food prices? This can save you big money, folks. I'm telling you, big money. Save you big money, especially over the course of a year. A lot of money, you know. And also, it's healthier, okay? Arguably, in many, many ways. But I'll do separate videos on that and the science supporting that. But either way, folks, just healthy food. You know how it was grown. You grew it yourself. You know what's up. Let me know what you're doing right now in the fall to prepare for next growing season. Even if you're not still growing, what are you doing? What are you doing on your property? What are you doing in your gardens, right, folks? Let me know. We appreciate. Like, comment, subscribe. I hope you folks are all well. Get out there. Take care.